You know when to take the MSP training so I can get you on the schedule to be able to give your 10-minute presentation. And then today we have Dr. Dwayne Hoskins, but Sandra is going to be speaking on behalf of Hoskins Chiropractic. Let's see, Dr. Dwayne Hoskins was born in California and grew up in Illinois. He is married to Julie and they have a son, Brandon, and 2 adopted daughters, Allie and Hope. He attended college at Illinois Wesleyan and received a bachelor's in pre-med, and then he attended Logan Chiropractic in Missouri and received a doctor of chiropractics. Hobbies of his include guns, golfing, and online gaming. And as you know, he absolutely loves chiropractic. It is his calling and his mission. Something interesting is that he teaches martial arts and has a 3rd degree black belt. And back in July 15 of 2000, he actually received a first in sparring, which is fighting with gear for points, a first in forms, which is a memorized sequence of moves, a first in weapon forms, which is a memorized sequence of moves with weapons, and then he was the Region 106 trainer of the year, and that all happened on his birthday. So please give a round of applause for Dr. Dwayne Hoskins.
Smile.
You know, I thought this was going to be a lot easier to give his than it was to give mine, but after working until like 11 o'clock last night, I decided maybe I'd go off more and get you. So we'll see. I thought about starting with doing a physical demonstration of what chiropractic is, and I didn't want Doc to have to fix whoever I worked on. Start with the PowerPoint instead. So first off, let's talk a little bit about what is chiropractic. A lot of people in this room are new, so they haven't heard Doc speak. And even though he's had 5 years of college, or how many ever years it takes, you need to know a little bit about the basics of what chiropractic is before you can understand and do this thing to him. So, a little bit of anatomy. Chiropractic anatomy is body like brain. And the body's made up of gazillion little tiny little cells. And the brain speaks to those little cells through nerves, and the nerves run through the spinal cord. And that's basically the anatomy that you need from the chiropractic standpoint point of view. They need a lot more than that, but that's the basics. So the chiropractic is based on the philosophy of God created the body to heal itself. You've all, at one point in time in your life, had a broken bone, cut yourself as a little kid, but you're not still wearing the Band-Aid from when you cut yourself because it healed. You might have needed a stitch or a staple or a cast or whatever to help it, but your body healed itself. And that's the very basics of chiropractic. And also that poor communication within the body means you'll have poor or no function in parts of the body. So if the brain can't communicate through the spinal cord to the cells to tell them what to do, then your body's going to have poor function. And sometimes interferences are bones pressing on a nerve, and that's where chiropractic comes in. They release those bones so that the nerves can give clear communication to the cells in the body. So that, in a nutshell, is chiropractic. So why Doc? Part of our 10-minute presentation is to explain what makes one chiropractor better than another. Why should you refer him? Refer him rather than someone else. So from my perspective as a client, he is the gentle giant of chiropractic. He's a big guy, but I've seen him work on babies. I've seen him work on a 10-pound baby, and I've seen him work on a 300 or 400-pound wrestler. It takes a huge amount of difference in pressure between working on a little big form and a very big guy. He uses multiple techniques for multiple needs. He has a genuine love for his clients. I've had experience with other chiropractors in the past that you go in, you get your adjustment, pay your $40, see you next month or next week or tomorrow or whatever it is. He understands that your life and the stresses in your life are made up of more than just movement and your work. It has to do with your emotional, your spiritual, your mental needs as well. He also educates his clients through a series of TikToks. Basically that is, he has a meeting once a month, meets with his clients that want to come, fixes a meal, and talks about a little bit what chiropractic is so they can understand their need for it and makes them appreciate it more. And also affordability. Talked a little bit about his style of practice is a monthly membership. Chiropractor I have gone to before, at one point it was going to cost me almost $600 a month. Well, nobody can afford that. And his passion for chiropractic is that it doesn't matter what your income level or what you can afford, everybody needs it. And so he will see if you can't afford it or whatever you can afford, he will meet you where you need it. So who needs chiropractic? He already talked a little bit about children, and babies were part of the first name on the list. Because babies basically haven't had a chance to have the stress and the junk in their life that we all get. And so they have the best chance, I guess, for a clear life by starting early. Athletes who want to make their game better, maybe their golf swing better, their batting average better, and want to run a little faster. Anybody basically that wants to just have a better overall health. I explain that a little more at the end. And just you and me, everyone.
He's bigger than that in real life, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
That's a real client and a real friend, so for sure.
Hope you didn't mind that I borrowed that picture, but.
He's starting chiropractic school in the fall.
So when do you need chiropractic? We talked a little bit, Callie, you've shared with the group before about having headaches and fixing your headache. But do you know at what precise moment your body decided to go out of adjustment so that you created a headache? So we never know that. And so it's between the chiropractor and the client as to how often or when you need it. But interferences happen all the time. We're working, we're bending, we're twisting, and so you need it on a lifetime basis. One thing I've heard over and over again in the past few years is chiropractic is a, sorry, I just forgot what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Need to hear it one more time.
It's a process, not an event. There we go. So why chiropractic? What time?
4 minutes.
Okay. I'll tell you my story about why I think chiropractic is important and why it's close to my heart. When I was in my 30s, I was diagnosed with a condition, and part of the symptoms of that condition were fatigue, muscle and joint aches, and joint pain. So my day routine would begin, I'd get out of bed. Some days I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I don't know if you've been in an accident. But you know what that feels like. Every bone in your body hurts. My feet hurt. By 10 o'clock in the morning, I was ready for the day to be done. My days usually go to 4 or 5 o'clock. So by noon, I would go home, eat some lunch, take a nap. I'd get up, go finish the day. About 4 or 5 o'clock, I'd take a nap. I'd get up, eat some supper, do a few things around the house, and go to bed. Day after day, week after week, I was 30, 35 years old, and I thought that was just what life was going to be. When Sunday come, if I didn't get up and go to church, I'd sleep for 12 or 14 hours, sometimes, and feel like I hadn't been to bed. I don't know if you know what it's like to drive in the fog or walk in the fog, but that's basically what I felt like. So when I was about 2011, 42 years old, I started getting pain in my hip. And I tried a few things. Finally went to my medical doctor. He gave me a muscle relaxant, which worked for about 2 or 3 months, and then it was back. And I knew Doc was in town. Didn't really know him that well. I knew who he was through our business association there in town. So I went to visit him. And after about a week or two, I woke up on Sunday morning at 7:30 my mind was clear, my body didn't hurt. I went out and I sat in the chair and I watched the sunrise for the first time in a long time. And I sent him an email. There's a Bible verse that says, weeping may be endured for a nighttime, but joy cometh in the morning. And for me, it was finally morning for the first time in like 10 years. And I couldn't tell you, and he couldn't tell you probably that one time, that one adjustment that made the difference. But somehow, something was blocking my system from working, and my nerves weren't communicating completely in my body. So I heard the saying that you can have a life full of days or days full of life. And I spent a long time with a life full of days. But when you can have a day full of life and have energy, and I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for chiropractic. Not that I think I would be dead, but I just wouldn't have the energy, and my life has changed enormously, and I've changed enormously in the last 2 years, just because I'm no longer living in the fog. So who will you refer to doc today?
Okay, tell you what, you've done a quick adjustment.
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. Was there anything that you wanted to add, Doc?
What can you add to that?